Hey, how are we doing, everybody? Welcome back. Um, I tried to put out a video yesterday, and when I went to edit it, I realized that my microphone wasn't turned on. So for 20 minutes, I'm just doing this, talking, and I can't, and nothing's coming through. So I scrapped it. I said I'm not gonna do that video because it seemed kind of forced, and it wasn't really a great video, anyways, to begin with. I only had screenshots that I could show of the champion that we were going to talk about. I have the champion, but the content is weekly. It was Hydra, and I just really wanted to show off Quintus. So I'm just going to wait until next week for the reset, and then actually record some gameplay of Quintus doing his stuff, and then we'll get into it. So, but today I decided, there's probably people out there that don't understand how to succeed at Tag Arena tournaments and how to succeed at Tag Arena. Okay, so let's just kind of go over it here quick. So Tag Arena, if you don't know, which you obviously probably do, depends where you're at in the game, if it's opened up for you or not. I don't remember what level it opens up at. But Tag Arena is essentially you have three teams, right? It's 3v3. And you have to develop three teams and then go head to head for another three teams, okay? But here's the thing, you're looking down here, you're going to the bazaar, you're like, man, energy, shards, charms once you get into gold, which this is outdated and stupid. This needs to not be a fucking thing. Quick tangent. Raid really just needs to stop. These should not be gauged by tier at all. None of this. Because 30,000 points is hard to come by for anybody that is a period. Anybody. I use quite a bit of gems a month to push to be able to buy the sacred shard, the rarity charms, the void shards, and the energy in the ancient shard. Okay. Sometimes I push enough that I'm able to get the legendary skill tome, but this needs to not be bracketed like by what tier you're in. This just needs to be open. It just needs to be another shop essentially, especially with the pricing, right? Also, never buy a 5-star chicken. You can get this for so much cheaper and less effort than what this is telling you to buy it for. But accessories like this, these all right here would be so beneficial to the early game player, especially, and it would encourage them to do 3v3 arena. Okay, so tangent over. That's what I'm. There might be a couple more tangents coming, but we'll get into it. But anyways, so you need to make three teams. And I see you looking at this and you're going, those aren't three teams, Ope. I know. I know. There's a secret to this because it's gonna be Monday mornings for me. When 3v3 resets, same with regular arena, I always drop my defenses down to one-man defenses. Why is that? Well, the more you get attacked, the farther down you go in the bracket, and then all the easier fights you are going to get. Now today is Friday, the 14th, right? June 14th. And the reason that these are still up and going as strong as they are right now is one, players probably don't care. They're willing to drop down to gold 2 and fight back up to gold 3. It's pretty easy. It's not terrible. Also, it's because we have this 3v3 tournament going on right now and everybody's trying to get these free rewards here. And these are shitty rewards, honestly. I'm looking at these are just hunks of shit. I mean, those are okay. The 4-star chicken shit. 3-star chicken is shit. 25 gems is shit. Like, but I think Plarium definitely has caught on. They've known how people rig the system to be able to. I just lost another fight. I just watched it in real time. Rig the system to get easy points and to get these essentially free rewards. Okay. Um, but so my advice, whenever the tournament's up and whenever reset starts, set one-man defenses, and I'm gonna tell you set rare champions or uncommons as one-man defenses, because when I'm going through and I'm looking at these, I go, ooh, there's three rares. That's gonna be real quick, and I hit it, boom, and then we're done. I'm looking for the easiest fight I can to maximize my time, right, and maximize my reward gain. So essentially, that's what I'm looking for. Now, sometimes you'll see guys that, they put in a bunch of legendaries that are not ascended, they're not leveled up, and those are just as easy, but could be, I mean, depending on, I guess, where you're at, could be a little tougher, or not tougher, but a little bit more time consuming. Um, but that's the thing. And when I'm fighting regular 3v3 arena, I'm looking for people with epics in their teams and not rares, obviously, because nobody's using rares in their 3v3 teams that are being serious in my that I've seen. But I'm looking for epics. So if I see a Madame Ceris or Deacon Armstrong, something like that, that right there to me, I'm like, that's the guy. That's the one I'm going for. Okay, so you got to make yourself appetizing, is what I'm saying. Also, I don't know if it works this way or not, but I don't like to manually add tag arena tokens from the other screen. I like to come here and look and see whichever one's going to expire first. Boom, and then add that to my cache, I guess you could say. So we'll go back in, and then we'll do it all over again. Do that, do that. Perfect. And this is how you essentially farm 3v3 arena. It's a lot easier than it sounds. Now, obviously, you're going to need some decent teams to get yourself to the point where you can do this and get good rewards, right? Especially because you got to do this to get Ramanatu. There's certain missions. I think you have to get to gold 1 in 3v3. I think so. I haven't done it in a while, but that's something to think about. And today we will also be going over what teams you can build for 3v3 arena. Now this is really going to be like you're going to have a lot of crossover for teams that are all right, this is good for regular arena, this is good for 3v3 arena. Those both are going to be the same thing essentially. Live arena is a little different because you have to like pick and ban and do a bunch of Funani kind of stuff. Boom. So I'm going to cut it right here because you've obviously understand what's going on here. And then we're going to go in when we come back about what teams you can build and how to implement and what gear sets are good. See you in a second. All right, welcome back. Let's go over some teams. We'll make some teams while we're doing this. And then, so this part of the video, teams, combinations that you can do. Now, I'm going to show you champions that are mythical, champions that are legendary and epic. We really won't be going into rares. There is one rare that can stand out in arena. I know you're kind of like, ooh, which one is that? And we'll get into it. I don't know if I have a copy of him anymore. I really should just build one of him out for, even for Curse City. Which, side note too on that, champions nowadays are gauged on if they're good for Curse City or Hydra, honestly. And it feels a lot like the Magic the Gathering argument when you see a shitty card and you're like, oh, but it's good in EDH, it's good in Commander. And it's like, fuck, yeah, it is. Obviously it is. It's going to be good. Anything's good in that format. Anything. But let's just let's go over some teams that you can make. Okay. Now, sadly, there are certain strategies that are not used anymore because the nerf to polymorph, fuck, I should just zoom in on myself and make it big and go nerf, and that's going to be our new thing, air quotes. Really, it's inconsequential and doesn't fucking matter. As you can see here, this Siphi, right, 6-star polymorph. This Harima, 6-star polymorph. This Yumiko, 5-star polymorph. And then you have this Armand's, who is 5-star, and he's damn gonna be trying that. They're gonna be going first, okay? You see there's a polymorph here, polymorph here, and then there's a polymorph here and here. There's strategies that we can't use because we will get fucked over. And the only way you can combat a polymorph that is 5-star and lower is having resistance on a champion, but also having accuracy on them. There are 3 stats that are most important in all of Raid, okay? Speed is number 1. Even though the meta can go second teams, speed is still number 1. You want the team that takes more turns than the enemy team, right, is most likely going to be the one to win, okay? That's the same thing in any kind of card game or anything. The more cards you draw, statistically, you're going to be the one to win because you have more advantage, more options, more fuel, more resources. Does that make sense? Right? Same thing that goes for this. Speed is going to be king, always. The second one, and they're both tied, right? 2 and 3 are tied for second, is going to be accuracy and resistance. Now, damage dealers aside, this really is the cream de la creme. You know what I mean? Accuracy and resistance. Accuracy is obviously going to let you land your debuffs. Resistance is going to have you resisting debuffs. Resistance can help you with everything except for 6-star polymorph and any guaranteed, right, or cannot be resisted quotes. There's two different kinds of debuffs that champions can have, okay? Um, so let's get into it. Now, here's the thing about resistance. You can't be, see, I still, personally, I still don't know what the difference is between guaranteed debuff, because Baron puts a guaranteed um, debuff, which is decreased defense, and then there is can't be resisted. I still don't know what either one is, because you think the accuracy requirement just wouldn't matter. Because Tumezia has that, where her A1 cannot be resisted if they're under HP burn. I don't know. Anyways, sorry. Anyways, so let's look at some teams here. Now, you have your typical, what we call a cleave team. We have a speed booster, lockout champion, and then a high damage dealer. Now, I see you're looking here, and I haven't changed, like, during the video for Quintus I was trying to make, I changed him from cruelty to whatever this is, that new nature one for Stone Skin. It's shit. Don't do it. This does not do enough damage to do anything. And there's going to be a section in this video where we're going to talk about blessings that are good for arena and tag arena. Okay. Here's another cleave team. This is my speed Rotos variation. This used to be a Rotos band. I'm switching it over to a Sun Wukong. This is my 4 affinity variation, which I do use almost all the time as my go second team. Now I hear you saying, go second, these are pretty fast champions. Yeah, they're very fast. But this is technically my go second team. 289, not fast enough. 288, not fast enough. 310, not fast enough. And my Harima 234, she's pretty decent. I wish I had this crit damage over 300, but it is what it is. Not fast enough. Okay. So this team relies a lot on resistance, tankiness. Okay. And this Mithrala can be changed. I really do need to change her. Pump up this accuracy and get that speed up a little bit. Elva, not enough resistance really, but she's in Stone Skin, so we're praying that that is the safeguard. Speed is pretty decent, but nothing crazy. And then my Harima, yeah. But that's my go second team. That's my 4 affinity team that I use for like the quests. This is the landmine team. Now this team used to be amazing. I used to have a lot of fun with this team. I'm just looking to make sure, yeah, all the gear's still on them. I used to use this team whenever I would see a Tormund in Tag Arena or regular arena, because this team, as you can see, is called the Landmine. Will decimate a team that really was not under Stone Skin, and that you weren't afraid of Polymorph. Now Polymorph is in the meta now. Tormund's out of the meta because he can get Polymorph by placing Freeze and all of his other debuffs. It is pretty shitty, like. I feel like Raid, they don't playtest anything. They just let the content creators go to the test server and try things out, thinking, okay, that's all the bugs. That's all the crazy shit that's going to happen. But then it's not, right? Because then you got Joe Schmo or like Bronco or whoever, whatever other content creators that, usually don't get access to the test server or whatever, or the community in large, period. And if given, the players will break the game. That is guaranteed. They will figure out how to destroy the nuclear warhead with a rock and a stick. You know what I'm saying? So really the implementation of Polymorph is really just really fucked over arena, period. But anyways, yeah, sorry. Tangent again. But the landmine team, we can just delete this. This doesn't exist anymore, which is a bummer. I did build up 3 Dark Elhanes, and that wasn't my original idea either. That was Stu Gaming's idea. He used to do Raid, and then he got, I don't know, too big for his britches, and yeah, I don't know. He went kind of off the wall. But then I have this team here. This is my go second couple team. Now this is a great team. Now a lot of couples like Siphi, Rotos, Cupidus, and Venus, these two got buffed, and they're actually pretty decent. But they end up getting pushed out of the meta again by Taras and Marichka. Big bummer. But you can have a go second team here where you have a protection champion, a reviver, cleanser, protection champion, and then if you have Cupidus, he's going to attack with his A1 anytime he's hit with Venus on the same team. He also gets a 25% increased damage boost. So he ends up smacking pretty hard. With this strategy, you end up having Nekret because he's going to have the lowest HP on the team. Nekret's going to put his passive at the beginning of combat right here, arise my minions on Cupidus, and then he's just going to, go to town. This is the single faction team I use. It's for nothing. Don't even look at that. We can just get rid of that. This is my speed couple team. Now this is a team I use all the time, as you can see. This is where I have a turn meter manipulator champion that his whole job is to screw the enemy team over and obviously benefit your team, to where we're using greatest hits. And for my next trick, everybody knows who Armands is. Everybody hates Armands, but everybody also loves Armands if you have Armands. If you skip that fusion, you're a big dummy, because he's really worth it. He really is. He is a legendary in a sea of mythics that is a meta defining champion. Really can't sing his praises more. Nekret, he's going to protect Rotos. He's got the least amount of HP, so he'll protect him right at the beginning of the fight. Siphi with her passive, Eternal Bond, and Spur and Oblivion with Rotos. You guys know how it goes. But again, this couple really getting pushed out of the meta by Tarask and Marichka. Now, I know this is going long. We're at 8 minutes, but I'm just showing you more. This is another speed cleave team. Now, if you went for it, this Ancora was a great legendary by herself, but with her partner, Narcissus, even better. Again, this is Speed Booster, Yumiko, Ancora, and then Narcissus. Just like that. And he's still not fast enough. I need to work on that. And I really need to push that crit damage over 300. Come on. Here's a team that you might not have recognized, and this is kind of a hint at the rare that we're going to talk about here later in the video. Yoshi, the Drunkard, with Gaius, Rian the Conjurer. She has no gear on her right now. I got to put gear on her. But essentially, what the whole thing is, you're going to use Yoshi. He's going to give your team increased attack and increased accuracy and maybe place a True Fear. Hopefully not. You have to assume they're in Stone Skin now. And he's going to cut in because fills this champion's turn meter by 4% each time an enemy receives a buff. So if you're going up against, like, it's like a Siphi, Duchess, anybody that's given a lot of buffs and turn meter push to their team, Yoshi can cut in. He's going to give these 2 buffs. Rian, making her fast enough that she is the go second champion on the team. Give her enough accuracy. She's going to strip all the buffs away with Sweeping Dismissal and placing Weaken. Now, in this configuration, Weaken is the only thing that will affect bomb damage other than attack on the champion placing bomb damage. Does that make sense? And Stone Skin on the enemy team. Decreased defense does not affect bombs because bombs ignore 100% defense. Okay, so Weaken's going to give them an increase in damage. Then you have Gaius coming in. He's going to sleep and place bombs. And then if they have Stone Skin or they're able to cleanse or they get a turn or whatever, his A3 Explosive Whip hits an enemy twice, activates any bombs, and will ignore Unkillable. It's pretty good. And then Pythion's in here just in case everything goes sideways. Cleanse and Immortal Serpent. Okay. That right now might be the team that we're going for here. There's another variation of this team right here. These champions are much better, to where we have Arbiter's a speed booster, and then we go into Arbaze, where she'll put increase attack and increase accuracy on the team and give a turn meter boost. So that's going to be her right there. We'll do that. And then Nishak's going to come in. He's going to do Unclean Banquet. And then he's going to do his Vermin Lord's Command, which is going to decrease the duration of bombs on the enemy team. And then Yumiko, she's going to be our lockout. Okay. So we will actually put these into practice here in a minute. And again, this is another speed cleave team. Now, you could sub epics into here, and we will go over those epics right now. Okay. So let's say you have an Arbiter. Okay. And you go, man, I don't really have any good legendaries that I could put in here. Who could I put in? Well, you can put Gorgorab in. Now, their speeds are not matched up, right? There's going to be a cut in, but turn meter boost and a turn meter boost, okay? And then you're like, well, I need a champion, hopefully, that will strip and not get polymorphed, okay? Some of you might even have gotten this champion for free. He doesn't strip, but he places decreased defense. And we could put Tyrell in, okay? Right there. And turn meter manipulation on his A3 for a single target. And then for an epic nuker that you could have, I'm telling you, there's no one better other than maybe that Demon Spawn epic. But Morag, she smacks with her A2 and her A3. It's pretty nutty. So this is an example of a team that you could do right now given your game. Now, say you don't have Arbiter. Okay, that's fine. Let's get rid of Arbiter. Gorgorab has an aura that's for Arena. And then, I don't think I have her in here. But you can use Golden Reaper. She's probably in my vault because I haven't done anything with her. But Golden Reaper is actually an epic I see not often, but often enough that I remember her, that she can be a turn meter booster, and you can put her right here in the second slot. Okay. Now the sad thing about using all epics is, or what have you, is you're not going to have access to Polymorph. Polymorph really is a big deal in the game, and it really will slow down fights, and it can cinch you matches like you wouldn't believe, and it can steal away matches from you as well. Get rid of that. Now let's see if I actually have this rare champion that can give you increased accuracy. I'm just going to show you who he is because I don't know if I have him. He is a void rare, and his name is Kurzad. Now there is a guy that was a Scottish content creator, and he's not doing it anymore, and I don't remember, but he was the one that really brought this to the forefront to show everybody, you know, because resistance was getting insane. Accuracy wasn't enough at that point. There's a lot of go second teams, like Duchesses and shit with like, you know, 800-900 resistance, and you just couldn't keep up. But you have Deep Ambush from Kurzak. He's going to give you the big version of increased accuracy. Places accuracy on allies for 2 turns, and then all enemies, and then attacks all enemies. Has a 100% chance when booked to place decreased defense, the little one, for 2 turns. This is a great rare. You can use him almost anywhere in the game, but this is really going to help you in Arena because of the increased accuracy. And that's all he's in there for, okay? But that's Kurzad. So you can sub him in. You don't have a Yoshi? Fine, Kurzad. You don't have our base? Fine, Kurzad. We can even, I wish you could look it up from here. We can even look up in my list right now. Let's look at buffs. Oh, that's debuffs. Who gives increased accuracy? And then include my master in my reserve vault. Okay. Lady Mikage, if you fused her, her form 2. Right here. Increase accuracy, and she places a weaken. Okay. Our base, her form 1, increase accuracy. Ruel the Huntsman, who was a fusion back in the day and is really cool looking, but doesn't do much now. Increase accuracy and places hex. Lady Kimmy, who is a great champion to go with a speed boosting team in Arena, because she strips and then places increased accuracy and increased speed on the team. Okay. Argagante, I didn't realize. What? You do not. Oh, her A1, she gives herself increased accuracy. Ooh, didn't know that. Grand Oak Podridge, if you went for him, his passive, he gives a champion who is a support champion increased accuracy, even if they don't place debuffs, which is kind of a bummer. Yoshi the Drunkard, like we talked about. He's placing increased accuracy here, and he's actually putting decreased accuracy on his A2. Cleopteryx, who you get from 3v3 for, I'm pretty sure it's Cleopteryx, where you get the shards from 3v3. I can't remember. Right here, she gives herself increased accuracy, okay? Mr. Rider Dahi gives himself increased accuracy and increased attack. Ayla Life Braid, Miss Thickness, okay? Increased accuracy. Stag Knight's Contingent, he was actually the first champion that gave increased accuracy. But it's if somebody like doesn't place a debuff, there's a 50% chance, or there's a chance they're gonna get increased accuracy. Ostrox Boneglaive, the new guy, gives himself increased accuracy and all allies increase accuracy. Ethlyn Golden, increased accuracy and crit damage. Claude Beastfeeder. Now I accidentally fed Claude a long time ago, and then I was really trying to get him back because Iron Twins had such a high requirement for what you needed to do. Increase accuracy and increase speed. He's actually a great champion to put in Arena with you as an epic option. Cormac's not great. He only does it to himself, and Cormac hits like a bitch. Chani does it under A2. And then, yeah, I do have a copy of Kurzad. So there you go. That's going to be it for this. Hopefully you learned something from this part of the video. Now let's go and start talking about blessings that are essential for Arena. Alright, part 3 of the video. Blessings that are good for Arena. Tag Arena and regular Arena. 3v3. This is for live Arena, this is going to work as well, okay? Now, we're just going to go through them by bracket and tell you which ones are good. Indomitable Spirit, not good. I don't ever see it used. Miracle Heal, again, never see it used. Iron Will, This might start coming into play more, but I doubt it, since burn and bomb champions, anybody placing any kind of debuff is getting pushed out of the meta, or has already been pushed out of the meta because of polymorph. So Iron Will, I don't see this working. Heaven Crest, though, this is used quite a lot. Now, if you have a champion that is on a go second team or has a lot of buffs, period, Heaven Crest is going to be great for them at higher stages. Not really here, but at higher stages, okay? So, like, I would say 5 and 6 are the ones that you would be like, maybe I do put Heaven Crest on them. But at 6, you're going to end up using a different blessing anyways, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But Heaven Crest, great option. Even really good in Hydra as well. Right here, Intimidating Presence. This is the one I've seen used the most. Especially with R-Mans being in the meta. People are trying to really like outspeed R-Mans and then really fuck over the enemy team, because nowadays you're unsure if you're going to be going first or not, right? This just strengthens your aura and then cripples the enemy aura by a certain amount, right? So another great solid option, really at all levels. Even 1 star is good. Lightning Cage, this is really used for champions that are under Stone Skin. I see it mostly under, again, go second teams. I'm thinking, like, I've seen Ramanatu's with this. Most of the time I see Mortu Macabres, the demon guy that blasts people with peril. He'll have this on because he's going to be in Stone Skin, and he's going to be the slowest person on the team because he wants to take the most hits to proc his hidden ability Peril, which I think might be getting a rework here soon. But Lightning Cage is great because it protects your buffs, okay? Higher the level, the higher chance it's going to protect a buff, okay? And it's a random buff. Thing about Mortu Macabre, he's usually only got 1 buff going on, and that's Stone Skin. So, thoughts there. Dark Resolve, I don't see this used at all. It's, yeah, really, this might, you could put this on a Mortu Macabre maybe, but I doubt it. Yeah. Phantom Touch, I see this one used seldom, but it is used. You're just cranking out extra damage based on your attack, and you have a higher percent chance. 100 when you're 6 star, 75 when you're 5 star, of just doing bonus damage based on your attack, okay? Cruelty. Now, this one actually is used a lot, and I recommend this a lot. This is actually used a ton in the game. I'm actually going to be switching over my Harima to this until I can get her to 6 star, and then I'm switching over my Narcissus to this. Cruelty is a great utility blessing because it's going to decrease the defense for each hit up to a certain point on the enemy team. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart there. Mitch McConnell. So I'm having it at 5 star on this UDK. Obviously, I'm not putting UDK in this. Decreases target's defense by 2% per hit, up to 30% for champions, 15 for bosses. This is great. It's like a passive over time Helm Smasher, right? It's even a little bit better than Helm Smasher because I think Helm Smasher is only 25%. This is great. Lethal Dose. I see Nishaks using this sometimes because when their bombs go off, they're replaced with protected poison debuffs, which is pretty fun. But it'll increase the damage enemies receive by poison placed by this champion in the arena. And then will ignore 35% of the target's resistance when placing poison debuffs on AME champions in the arena. Now, as you can imagine, anything that's going to be telling you need to place a debuff really isn't getting used a lot, but I've seen Lethal Dose used quite a bit, especially for Nishak. I'm trying to think who else. Really, that's about it. Yeah, only Nishak. I've seen the odd Lord Shazar with this, but he doesn't even place poison, so I don't know why. Maybe they just did it because before they did the rework, this gave like the most increase to attack. So, there you are. Temporal Chains isn't bad, but a lot of people use Intimidating Presence instead. But Temporal Chains will decrease each enemy's speed for each active buff they are under, except for the buffs placed at the start of the round. So this is great if you're going up against like a Siphi, if you're going up against Duchess, anybody that's throwing out a lot of buffs at the beginning of the fight, this is going to fuck them over. Great. Ward of the Fallen. I've seen this used on 2 champions specifically. This is always used at high levels on Rotos, and this is always used at high levels on Taras. This is, for one, it reduces the damage they receive, and at 6 star, it replenishes the bone armor stacks, and also sends out little skeletons to attack, which is a really cool animation. But 6 star does that. Okay. Yeah, there you go. War, Hero Soul. This is not used in arena. This is only used for PvE. Faultless defense. This is only used for PvE as well. I never see this used anywhere else. It reflects damage for anybody under increased defense. Commanding presence is an epic option that essentially is intimidating presence, but only does one side of it. Where it strengthens your team's aura, and it will not decrease the enemy team's aura at all. But this is a good epic option if you have epics and you don't have legendaries to push this. Okay. Chainbreaker is kind of a fun one, but I don't see anybody using it. I picked it in the beginning for a lot of supports, but it never went anywhere. Start of this champion's turn, chance of removing a stun, freeze, sleep, provoke fear, true fear, or petrification placed on this champion. It will only activate if this champion is under any of these debuffs, and then high awakening bonus. Whenever this champion is hit by an enemy while under any of the debuffs mentioned above, has a chance of partially filling the champion's turn meter, occurs once per hit. Per hit's pretty good. Now, I don't know why this isn't coming back, but again, I actually do know why, because anybody placing any of these debuffs is going to turn into a fucking sheep. That's really, I mean, the whole video is just me bitching about polymorph. Let's just continue. Life Harvest is great for supports. Actually, I've seen it used for damage dealers as well, nukers. It will destroy enemies' max HP by a certain amount when they are revived. This isn't once per combat. It keeps going until you hit the HP threshold. And then the mid-awakening bonus, whenever the enemies are revived, partially fills this champion's turn meter for each enemy revived. And that starts at 3-star. Okay, this is great. I actually have this on my Ancora, and it helps her cut in against the enemy team. And I've actually cinched up matches because she was able to go. Then I was able to revive Narcissus with full health and full turn meter, and with his abilities off cooldown, and then he just blasts the enemy team. Great, I love it. But yeah, Life Harvest is actually very solid and used quite a bit. Soul Reap. Now, I see people taking this. This is, I'm just going to come out and say it. This is a shit blessing. It does nothing. I've seen it maybe kill 3 champions in my entire like arena career. But it really doesn't go anywhere. And then placing the True Fear, if they survive the Reap, can fuck you over and turn you into a sheep. So again, I don't like this. I have a couple champions still on it, and I haven't changed. I will be changing here in the near future. Chaos. Funnily enough, Chaos is the most popular of the blessing like pool. Okay. Emergency heal is great. I've not seen it in arena, but it can be used. The champions will be healed whenever the shield is broken by a certain amount for their max HP. Okay. Very solid. I see this everywhere in like PvE for Curse City and stuff. This is really put a shield set or protection set on somebody and you're going to go to town. PvE. But on this one, not so much. Okay. There might be a weird arena meta where you could use this with like shield accessories, because it doesn't matter how big the shield is. It's just that if it's on the champion when it breaks. Okay. Survival Instinct. Partial fills champion's turn meter whenever a debuff is placed, spread, or transferred onto them. Occurs once per enemy turn. And the High Awakening bonus, the turn meter fill has no restrictions. No turn restrictions. So once you hit, it looks like, yeah, you have to hit 6-star with this, which is kind of crazy. This is actually pretty cool. Again, this isn't seen playing live arena because of polymorph. Right? Polymorph really is like, it is what it is. Anyways, Crushing Ren. This is the most popular 6-star for most damage dealers if you're not putting them in polymorph. Each round, a number of this champion's hits will ignore a percentage of the target's defense. Percentage of the ignored defense depends on the level of the target. High Awakening, every hit will ignore percentage of the target's defense. And that only occurs when you hit 6-star. When you hit 5, it's the first 2 hits, which, you know, sometimes that's all you need, right? Especially for Terras. I've seen some Terras at 5-star Crushing Runs because they don't have accuracy for polymorph. Incinerate. This actually is being used now with that mythic Gizmak because he does HP burn at the start of the round and it goes through Stone Skin and eats up Stone Skin. Now, again, he can get polymorphed as well. So that's a big bummer. Here it is, the big piece of shit that's been reworked twice, trying to nerf it to make it better, and it doesn't, and it just sticks around because it is the best option. It is the big boogeyman. I'm not going to talk about it. You should know what it is. I'm moving along. Brimstone, we never see this really in arena. The only time you do see it in arena is when the champion is multi-use champion, so like they're being used in PvE content, and then, you know, they're taking them into arena. Now, Brimstone used to be a lot better, but then they nerfed it. Each smite used to be protected at every level. Now it's not that way anymore because Plarium didn't like that players were able to do, were able to do high level content like that with no effort, and that was kind of bullshit. But it is what it is. Now these new ones, Harmony. Now there are some interesting ones here, and we'll just cover them quick. Nourish increases the value of the heal granted by continuous heal buffs placed by this champion. Each continuous heal placed by this champion restores a portion of the target's destroyed max HP. Not bad. I don't really see it used in live arena or any arena ever, but this is probably great for Hydra. Okay. Nature's Bounty. Whenever this champion applies a debuff, has a chance to place a greater version of the debuff. For example, little decreased resistance will be, or you'll get a big decreased resistance instead of a little decreased resistance. This is actually only for rares in certain epics that are still placing baby versions of debuffs. This is a great thing. I think this is awesome. You can get up to a 60% chance, but you won't see this in arena. Neutralize. Now this is only, in my opinion, really for Hydra. There's only one champion that places Poison Cloud in the game, and she's on the 10 times right now, which I'll probably do a little summon video for that, even though I don't care to. But has a chance to place debuffs on weak hits when attacking enemies under Poison Cloud buffs, and this gets increased all the way up to 60%. I use this on my Ugos, who I also have an Affinity Breaker, because Affinity Breaker also gets around Poison Cloud. And then I gotta tell you, I very rarely miss hitting in Hydra, putting on, decreased defense and block buffs. But really, this is the only place I see it as Hydra. Nature's Wrath. Now this might be useful. Increases the damage inflicted by this champion for each debuff they successfully placed, except debuffs placed by gear sets, which is kind of a bummer because that really could have went crazy, especially if you had like just a toxic set on somebody and you're just constantly placing little poisons. This honestly is probably really good on Dracomorph if you're using him in Clan Boss. But again, we're not seeing this in Arena. It's brand new, but it's also because Polymorph really deters any debuff placement. So we're moving on. I'll get into Cracking Roots in a second. It's a piece of shit. Harmonic Impulse. Fills the champion's turn meter whenever they lose their turn because of fear or true fear. Also decreases the quality of the skill they attempted to use whenever their turn is lost due to a true fear debuff. This could be used in Arena. I haven't seen it yet. But Tarask and Marichka place Fear and True Fear on, I think it's Demons, Undead, and Night Revenants. And you can imagine the most popular champions in Arena are actually those three factions. So this could actually help you out a lot. But really, I see this only really being a good thing in Hydra. Now, the one that we thought was going to be really good for Arena is actually shit. It doesn't do enough. Is Cracking Roots. I put this on my Quintus. I tested the damage before, and then I tested the damage after, and it was the same amount of damage he did to the UDK under Stone Skin. It just did not do enough damage. Increases damage like to Stone Skin, but it doesn't tell you how much the damage is increased, which really, here it is. HP by 60%, HP by 100%. This is actually probably only useful when you hit it at 6-star. Anything else under that, it's useless. And obviously there's the better option of, Polymorph. So there you go. That's going to be it for the blessings. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I know this is a long video. I know you probably know all this already, but for newer players, hopefully this helped you out. If you have any suggestions for videos, please leave them in the comments down below, and I will catch you next time.